Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This video is a code walkthrough for a problem that we are going to solve. The problem is basically consisting of an inheritance hierarchy where we are actually trying to solve and implement that hierarchy in Java. So let's get started. So this video is basically divided into 4 sections, where the first section is getting started, second is preliminaries, overriding, and finalizing the classes. You may choose any section that you want, and you may skip if you think a particular section is easier for you. Okay, let's just have a look at the design that we have to implement here, where employee is the parent class of academic, non-academic class, and it has the subclasses called lecturer and the security guard. Okay, now we have the empty project and we are going to add the required classes to the project. Let's save some time and quickly fast forward it. And now, as per the design, we are going to add the extends relationship to all our classes so that they are becoming the subclasses of the employee class. Let's do that a bit quickly. So that now our classes are ready, let's start adding the data members to them. And similarly, let's add the constructor, the setters, and getter methods. So we will be taking help from the auto generation of the IDE, and let's do that for all of the classes. One thing that you must notice is the calling of the superclass constructor. So it's calling the superclass constructor from here, which actually calls the constructor of the academic class, and this is the constructor of the academic class where I'm calling the superclass constructor, and from this point onwards I'm calling the constructor of the employee class, which is this one. So let's complete the rest of the classes very quickly, adding the getters, setters, and the required constructors. So it says in the employee class add a compute salary method. Remember that the salary attribute in the employee class stores the basic salary of an employee. However, the total salary calculations depend on the type of the employee itself. The salaries are computed as per below. So I just have to add the compute salary method to the employee class, and then the salary of teacher and security guard will be computed independently. So the teacher or lecturer and security guard will have their own salary formula. So that refers to the compute salary method in the employee class here should be declared as abstract. So let's just add that in the employee class, and I'm just coming here writing method saying public. The compute salary method actually returns the salary, so the return type of this salary is compute salary method is float. So I'm saying compute salary, where it does not take any specific parameters for us. But as this is the employee class, I will actually declare that method as abstract. So I'll say public abstract float, and that's it. Due to this fact that the method is abstract, I will actually go here and make this employee class as abstract. As this employee class is abstract, the lecturer, the non-academic, security guard, and academic, so all the subclasses here will become abstract. So coming to the academic class, it says public abstract academic, public abstract, sorry, I don't remove the class keyword here, and then the employee class public is done. Coming to the lecturer class, so public, make this as abstract, and okay, sorry, the lecturer class should not be abstract, so I'll come back to that later. The non-academic class, it must be abstract, and the security guard class should also not be abstract. So coming on to the lecturer class, if I just click here and it says class lecturer must either be declared abstract or implement abstract method compute salary. So I will implement the method. So the compute salary method would be overridden here, and the error that was displayed is gone now. Similarly for the security guard class, I will approach in the same way, just implement the overridden method. Okay, so now to access the data members of the superclass in the child class to compute the salary of teacher and the salary of security guard in the respective classes, I have multiple options. So I will go for the simple option, which is just calling the getter methods in the subclass. So to compute the salary of a teacher, I'll have to add the basic salary in the course rate, which should be multiplied with the number of courses. So let's try to write it here. So I'll simply say return duty hours. So number of duty hours, I'll say get basic salary plus it says get hourly rate multiplied by this dot total hours. So it would simply return me the total salary of the security guard. Similarly, in the lecturer class, I will come here and try to add the same function saying return getting the basic salary and then adding the course rate with the number of courses. So it says course rate multiplied by this dot total courses. So this returns me the compute salary. This returns me the computed salary of the lecturer. Okay, In addition to that, the assignment required to add the getters, setters, the toString method and the equals method in all your classes. And of course we also had to add the copy constructors. So coming back to my classes, jumping on to the employee class, starting from the top order, I will have to add a copy constructor which may look like this. Which is public employee, and it takes the employee object, and that's it. So to initiate the employee with the given values, I will say something like this. Okay, similarly I will have to add the toString method here, so let's just add it right after or before the compute salary method. So I will say public, the toString method should return a string, and then it says toString, which do not actually take any parameters, and it says return. It mentions that the toString method must return the comma separated values, so somewhere over here. Yep. So in the instructions it says that an employee object must be created with employee ID, and every employee class would have a function called toString. This function should concatenate all the data members in a string separated by a comma and return the string. So what I can do is I will actually concatenate all the data members, saying this dot ID plus concatenate with a comma. So I will simply try to copy it. So I will copy this one, and then I will say this dot name. So keeping the order similar, I will add the age and then the basic salary. So then the comma, then this dot age and the comma, and then I will say this dot the basic salary. So this is the string representation of the employee object in general. Similarly, I will add the same methods in the subclasses, which is the academic class. So coming on to this, and it says public string to string, and I will have to simply say return this. What we can do is I will simply say super dot toString plus, just add a comma here, so I will simply say a comma and this dot the course rate, and that's it. So this gives me the updated version of the toString being in the academic class. Now moving on to the lecturer class, let me just add the toString here. So I will say public string toString, and it returns super dot toString plus the commas plus the values that it has with it. So it says this dot total course. So this completes the implementation of toString from top to bottom. So in the similar fashion, we are going to add the toString method in rest of the classes. Okay. uh, yes, I also have to override the copy constructor here in the child classes. So the copy constructor for the employee class must also be called from the academic and non-academic classes. So again, starting from the academic class, I will simply have to add a copy constructor and saying public, the name of the class is academic, which takes an object of the academic class. So I will simply say super must be the first call. So I will pass the object to the super class, and I will initialize the rest of the data members by myself, which says this dot course rate equals to a dot course rate. So I will initialize the course rate by myself, and the rest of the part will be initialized by the super class, which is the employee class. Now jumping on to the lecturer class, I also have to add a copy constructor here. So I will say public, the name of the class is lecturer. The object that it must take is the object of the lecturer class. So let's just call the super class constructor and pass this reference L to the super and initialize the total courses by ourselves, as we have the total courses in this class. So I will say this dot total courses equals to L dot total courses. So in short, I have actually provided the copy constructor in the lecturer class, where the lecturer class only initializes the data that it has, and the rest of the part is initialized by the superclass, where this is the superclass constructor. Coming on to this constructor, this is the academic class constructor, which again does the same thing, where it only initializes the course rate, and the rest of the objects, in fact the rest of the data members, are passed with the help of the similar reference to the superclass. And that is the employee class, where it also initializes the rest of the data members. So in this way we have completed a chain of the copy constructor, and similarly I will do that the same thing for the non-academic branch. So we have actually provided the copy constructors throughout the hierarchy. Okay, one more thing that is to be done here is the equals method. I'm trying to add the equals method here, as we have added in the simple classes. Of course, we also have to add it here in this inheritance hierarchy. So let me just go with the toString, and let me simply override the equals method. So somewhere over here it was giving us an option to override this equals method. So it has generated a very different type of implementation for the equals method, which actually I will be explaining later in my class in another video. Similarly, I will add the same equals method in the academic class. So coming on here, I will simply say public boolean equals, so it helps me auto generate the method, and that generates it. And following the similar approach, we will add equals method in rest of our classes. So we have the equals method, the toString method, and the copy constructor added to our classes.
Hope you understood the first part. We will continue from here on in the next part. Keep watching.